How's it going, guys? I know it's been a really long time since the last time I posted a video. Going on about 5 years now that I haven't posted a video. But I'm gonna try to get back into it. I'm not sure how regularly it's gonna be, but I'm gonna try. So I think 5 years ago I left you guys off on part of the diesel Sears rebuild, and that was my last video. I'll show you guys where we're at with that right now. So I still have it, even 5 years later. Pretty much after the last video that I had posted, I kind of stopped working on it for quite a long time. And then about probably a year and a half ago, I kind of started picking at it here and there, and ever so slightly kind of started working on it again every now and then. I do still have it, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish it or sell it. I haven't worked on it in probably about 4 or 5 months. But basically everything that I have done to it was pretty much to my original plans, except for a few minor things. One being the exhaust. I had a stack on it, and I took it off, and now it's just straight piped out underneath the floorboard. I do have a few videos of that running, and I can post those right now. So shortly after I made the last video that I had posted 5 years ago, I got my driver's license or permit, I believe. Probably my license. Yeah, I've had my license for probably 5 or 6 years now. 5 years. And then, so after that, I got my first vehicle. Used to be my dad's. You probably had seen it in some of my older videos. Anyway, we'll go look at that. It's a 1997 F350 that I completely restored, and I'm still in the process of restoring. That was my daily driver for the first year or so that I had my license. And ever since then, I've done a complete frame-off restoration on it. So here's what it looks like now. I don't know if you guys remember what it looks like, but I will try and post up a little slideshow of what it used to look like in the beginning. What it looked like when I got it. I drove it for one winter. My dad had it before that for about 18 years, and he drove it every winter, mostly in the winter to tow snowmobiles. But he was gonna trade it in on a newer truck, and he bought this the year I was born, and I grew up in this truck, so I couldn't stand to see it go just to a dealership and most likely get auctioned off, with the memories and whatnot that I have in it. But so yeah, it's a 1997 F350. Right now it has about 222,000 miles on it. I got it with about 205, and I put the rest of it on. Since then, the first year I drove it, I put on most of the miles, and within the last 5 years of the restoration, I think I put on maybe 800 miles or so. But I'll try and post up a picture of, or a slideshow of the progress. So basically, when I took the 7.3 off the road to start working on that, I think my first vehicle after the 7.3 was a 2000 Chevy 1500. That lasted me like 4 months, but that was plenty of fun. I babied the 7.3, and it was kind of nice. I think I paid $400 for the Chevy. Needed a little bit of work, but I mean, it was nice to just have something that I could be a 16-year-old kid in. And I mean, you know, it saw its fair share of burnouts and that sort of thing. And that thing quickly deteriorated on me, and I ended up buying a 1995 F-150. I'll show up, if I can find a picture of it, I'll show it right here. But that was a single cab short bed, a 5-liter, 5-speed, and that was the same colors as my crew cab, which was kind of unique. It was pretty neat to have two trucks that were almost identical, and as far as the appearance, the color, and it was also the complete opposite configuration of my crew cab, being a crew cab long bed and the F-150 being a single cab short bed. I thought it was pretty neat. So I had that, and I had that for a winter. For extra money, I bought a parts truck that had a plow set up on it, and I swapped the plow over onto the 95, and I plowed driveways for that winter. And that thing was ridiculously expensive in gas. I mean, going back and forth to school and to work after school 5 days a week, I was going through a minimum of $80 a week in fuel, and that just became once the winter, once spring came, and I didn't have plowing money on top of my regular job that I was working after school. It was really hard to drive that as a daily for me when I was in high school. So I sold that, and I ended up getting into Volkswagen TDIs, which was a saving grace for me, honestly. I mean, when I was going to high school and to my job after work, after school in high school, it was probably a week and a half to 2 weeks. I mean, I was spending $20 to $25 every week and a half to 2 weeks, and that was just completely different from anything I was used to. And I've had 2 of those as a daily, and I've probably had 4 or 5 parts cars, TDIs. All of them were ALHs, the 99 to 2003 TDIs. All of them were 5 speeds, and I've gotten to know those pretty well. But recently, about 2 years ago, I crashed my last ALH, and I rebuilt it after the accident. I only made it about 800 miles or so after I rebuilt it, and every new front end part that I had put in the car was completely junk. So after that, after doing a little digging, the car ended up the body was twisted, and it was not something, it wasn't worth it to fix the car. So I ended up selling that, and I ended up buying this TDI out here. So I ended up buying this in March of last year, 2020. It's a 2012 Golf with the CJAA TDI. It's got a 6-speed. It's been a great little car. It's not as good on fuel mileage as my ALH, just because of the emissions. It does still have the DPF on it. But it's been a good little car, and it still has the Dieselgate warranty on it. So I believe I've got like 122,000 miles on it now, and I believe I've got the Dieselgate warranty up until 153 or 156 or something. So yeah, for now, and for as long as I plan on keeping it, this is going to be my little bomber. I mean, it's just my daily, so it's kind of a mess, but yeah, it is a stick shift. It's a great little car. But yeah, that's that. And that ends my my daily drivers as far as I've had since then. I have had a few work trucks since then, but yeah, I like this little car. It's been a good car to me. So after I had bought my second ALH TDI that I had, I decided that I needed another work truck, a truck of some sort, because I missed during the winter, I missed a lot of the plowing money. That was nice. And I did feel like I was missing out on that. I did have a lot of good customers, so I decided that I should pick up another truck. So yeah, because the first TDI that I had, all I had was that during the winter. I didn't have a truck, and so I bought a 1995 F350 for another work truck. That was a dually. Came as a flatbed. Paid it was a 7.3 5-speed. I think I paid $2,000 for that. If I can find some pictures, I'll throw those up in the video. But that needed a lot of body work. I mean, I put floor pans, rockers, cab corners, radiator support, fenders. I did all types of work to that. But that didn't have a plow on it. I put a plow on that as well. It was a flatbed when I got it, and I put an electric over hydraulic dump unit under the flatbed, and that proved to be wicked useful. So I mean, it was just a great truck. But I had an opportunity to buy another truck, a newer truck, as well as make some money on the dump truck. So that's what I did. And so about 2 years ago now, I believe, I sold the dump truck to my neighbor, who loves it. He still has it, uses it all the time. And I ended up buying this thing after I sold the dump truck. So this is a 2005 F250 with a 6-liter. I bought this for $1,800. Came with a 8-foot Poly X-Blade, Fisher X-Blade, and it didn't have the bed on it. If I can find some pictures of this when I first got it, I'll put those in the video as well. It's been honestly, this has been a really good truck. I was not quite sure what I was getting myself into. I didn't know a whole lot about 6 liters when I first got it, but I got it cheap enough that if stuff went south with it, then I would have been able to part it out, and I would have been able to make my money back. So I wasn't too worried about this investment. So but I did buy it, and after going to look at it, I did notice that it did have ARP head studs, and it was deleted. Needed quite a bit of work when I first got it. The bed that was on it was junk. The brakes were sticking, just that sort of stuff. The interior was pretty filthy. Not that it's much better now. It's just a work truck, but it's a far cry from what it was. Yeah, it's been a really good truck. So far, the work that I've basically done to this was the bed. I put brakes on it all the way around. I put brake hoses, calipers, rotors. I did put a leveling kit in it. I put shocks in it. I put new shocks because the old ones were freaking junk. And then this past fall, I put a set of 8 injectors in it because the fuel mileage was just absolutely awful, and you could feel it skipping when you were hard in the throttle. So it was definitely due for a new set of injectors. I also replaced the STC fitting, and I put a new oil cooler in it because the temperatures were getting a little hot. Yeah, basically that's that for this new truck. And basically, since the tractor, that's really what got me into diesels. Almost every vehicle I have, I mean, every vehicle that I have is diesel except for my motorcycle. I do have a 2016 Yamaha FZ09, that I'll post some pictures or video up of eventually, I'm sure. But so I got into TDIs quite a lot in my parts cars. I've had a lot of stupid little projects with TDIs, and like this one here. So this is this was the last parts car I had. I bought over this past winter. This is the engine and transmission out of that, and I ended up building a standalone wiring harness to basically run these out of the car. It was a fun little project, but this is the first standalone harness that I've done. I'm sure I'll do more eventually, but yeah, I will. I do have a video of this up and running, a startup for the first time with the standalone harness, so I'll post that up. So there you go, guys. That's basically a little update from me over the past 5 years as far as what I've been up to and the projects that I've worked on. Try and catch you guys up some more. I'll take some more videos, especially of like my 7.3 and my 6.0. Really, they're really, I mean, they're not much special, but they work for me, so I'll get some videos of that. And now basically all I'm waiting on is the house market to crash so I can buy a house and hopefully get a shop so I can store all my stuff in it and work on stuff, because this little carport that's enclosed in gets kind of tight sometimes. I'll do a little tour of the shop eventually, my little shop. But for now, that'll conclude this video. So if you guys want to see more, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.